Life is the ultimate competitor. It's relentless, it's brutal, and it's always hunting your weaknesses. It'll find every soft spot you've got until you break. But here's the thing. If I can help you build that belief, if I can help you stack that confidence so high that nothing can touch you, then you've got a fighting chance. When you know exactly who the fuck you are, the world can't do shit to you. That's what I'm about. I've been out there running, grinding, and figuring out what the fuck this life is about. I'm learning more about myself every day. I've got to get away from all the noise. I'm not about podcasts, man. No offense, but I don't like hearing myself talk. I'm about action. Action means shutting the hell up and doing the work. So that's where I've been. Smoke jumping, man. It's wildland firefighting. When there's a forest fire, most crews drive in on vehicles, right? But a smoke jumper. We go where no vehicles can get to. When the fire's deep in some remote ass spot with no access, they call us. We jump out of airplanes, land in tight ass drop zones with all our gear, and handle the fire ourselves. That's the job. How do we take water in? We jump with it. We've got our parachutes, our gear, and a camel pack type setup. The heavier shit, water pumps, extra supplies, gets pushed out of the plane after us with its own parachutes. Once we're on the ground, we gather everything and get to work. It's just us out there for days. No backup, no excuses. We don't leave until that fire is dead. That's how we roll. I tell people this all the time. Don't just copy what I do. Take what works for you and adapt it. My mission is different from yours or anybody else's. To help people get better, I have to keep getting better myself. I can't just sit back and say, oh, I've done enough. My resume is good, fuck that. If I'm not evolving, I'm failing. I have to cap my success and say, all right, you've done this much. Now get your ass back to work. Stop talking. Stop doing the podcast. Stop letting all the noise distract you. Get back to the fucking mental lab. That's where the breakthroughs happen. Alone, in the grind, in the fucking darkness. My message has to evolve. It has to hit everybody. If it's just the same cookie cutter bullshit, it fails. That's why people connect with what I say. It's not fake. It's real hard-earned knowledge. But to deliver that, I have to cut out all the noise and get back to the work. That's what capping success is about. Staying hungry, staying fucking relentless. People see a clip of me yelling stay hard or running like a madman, and they think, oh, he's just some psycho yelling motherfucker all the time. That's surface level shit. What they don't get is there's a whole system behind that. I didn't just wake up and turn into some rocky motherfucker. You have to put in the work every fucking day. You got to figure out the process. And guess what? That process is never fucking finished. That's why the book's called Never Finished. It's about showing people that growth doesn't have a damn finish line. And don't just take my word as gospel. I don't want people to hear my shit and say, oh, David Goggins said this, so I got to do it. Fuck that. Take the lessons, adapt them to your life, and do the work. That's what makes it real. I've built Goggins from the ground up, but let me tell you something real. I was born David Goggins, and David Goggins wasn't enough. He was a scared, bullied, abused little kid. And every time shit got hard, no matter how tough I thought I was, that version of me, the weak-ass David Goggins, would show up and quit. So now, every time I step into the fire, whether it's running, fighting, or grinding, I do it to stay connected to where I came from. The knowledge, the strength, the grit, it doesn't come from success. It comes from going back into the fucking darkness and fighting through it. That's why I keep pushing. I can't afford to get soft. And I sure as fuck can't let anyone else's expectations define me. My job is to stay hard, evolve, and bring that raw, uncut truth to the people who need it. I had to build Goggins from scratch. That wasn't some overnight shit. It took years, and it took me going back into the fucking mental lab. And let me tell you, the mental lab ain't some cushy ass place where everything's laid out for you. No, it's starting from zero, from scratch, every single time. That's where the work gets done. It's where I get better. Not when shit's easy, but when I'm out there digging holes in the freezing cold, waking up at 4 a.m. knowing damn well I don't have to. That's the secret, man. Staying hungry is important, but staying humble within that hunger. That's the real fucking key. Anyone can want something, but if you lose your humility along the way, you've already lost. Yeah, I saw that story about SEAL training, the tear gas, making them sing happy birthday. Look, I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. I get where people are coming from. You've got this professor, Sven, whatever the fuck, saying it's senseless and looks like hazing. And you know what? That's his opinion. I respect it. But here's the thing. He doesn't understand what it takes to do that job. Very few people do. It's a job that demands a completely different mindset. Is tear gas appropriate? I don't fucking know. But I do know this. That kind of training isn't for the 99% of people out there. It's for the 1% who are willing to go through hell to become something greater. It's supposed to push you to the brink to see if you can handle the absolute worst. If you've never been there, if you've never done that, you can't fucking judge it. When I talk, some people don't understand me. And that's fine. That probably means I'm operating in a space they've never been in. And that's not a bad thing. I don't judge people for not getting it, but if you're not in the fight, you can't criticize those who are. The world's loudest voices often come from people who have no idea what it actually takes. So yeah, let them talk. It doesn't change the fact that this shit is necessary for the ones who choose that life. You know what? I hear that story about Elon Musk telling his employees, we're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your fucking life. And it fires me the fuck up. People crying about it like, oh no, he's pushing people too hard, bullshit. That's exactly what greatness demands. Twitter isn't some damn daycare for soft-ass people who want to half-ass their way through life. It's for the top 1% who are ready to bleed for their craft. Most people don't fucking get it. They can't even imagine waking up after 4 hours of sleep, dragging their ass to work and giving everything they've got. They call it abuse. I call it a fucking privilege. That's the dream for some people. To wake up every day and know they're grinding for something bigger than themselves. If you don't feel that fire, get the fuck out of the way and let the savages handle it. This is the same shit I see in the SEALs. If you're not built for it, you'll never fucking understand it. And I'm not going to waste my time explaining it to people who are too soft to see it. That's fine. Stay in your lane. But what you don't understand, what you fail to fucking realize, is that the world needs people like that. You need the Elon Musk, the David Gogginses, the Navy SEALs, the people who are willing to put themselves through absolute hell to push this world forward. But no one talks about that shit. They forget that. Do you want your armed forces to be fucking underprepared because you didn't want to hurt their feelings in training? Are you fucking kidding me? That's the same soft-ass mentality that infects everything else. Even the most trained people in the world fall into that trap sometimes, thinking, oh, I did the work once, I'm good, bullshit. Mental toughness is a perishable skill. You don't just check the box and coast. That shit needs to be recalled and requalified every damn day. Not once a year. Every fucking day. That's why people hate me. Because I call it like it is. I've lived it. You can't rest on your laurels. You think I don't get injuries. You think I don't feel pain. Fuck that. Back in the day, that shit wouldn't slow me down, and I'll be damned if I let it now. That's why I ran the Moab 240. I realized I was turning into a part-time savage, getting soft, letting my excuses get the best of me. I was starting to believe my own bullshit. So I ripped my head out of my ass and got back in the game. A 240-mile race. Fuck yeah, that's the level I'm talking about. That's the new push, the new standard. When I decided to take on that race, I knew it was a whole new level. I had already become a fucking expert at running 100-mile races. Those were my backyard now. But this, a 200+ mile race, that was uncharted territory, and I needed that. I craved that next level of pain and suffering. The first time I did it, it kicked my ass. You probably read about it in the book. I got lost, got sick, and it broke me. But that's the fucking point. I came back and did better. That's the beauty of the human mind. You keep pushing the limits, and what once seemed impossible becomes your new normal. I'm running 240 miles, and now it feels like running 50 miles. That shit is insane. I never thought that was possible. But that's why I keep going, why I keep pushing that limit. There's always more. There's always a new wall to break through. So yeah, I ended up doing back-to-back 200-mile races. What used to be hard as fuck became easier once I figured it out. That's what happened. And yeah, I got lost during the first one. I was so fucked up, I went to bed halfway through the night. I woke up, nudged Kish, and was like, how much time do we have left until the end of the race? But because I hadn't completed the official route, I couldn't cross the official finish line. So I'm calling my pacers. Some of them had already gone the fuck home. At 3 in the morning, I'm like, hey, that race we just finished, because of health issues, I couldn't officially finish it. Can we go back and get it done? Here's the crazy part. I got lost, I got sick, I got pulled out for 12 hours, and then I got back into the race. I'm at around 200 miles, sick as hell, can't breathe, my lungs are fucked with pulmonary edema. And the doctor's telling me, if you leave the course now, you're not coming back to finish. I had to make a call. I'm laying in bed, feeling a little better. And I swear to God, I thought someone was talking to me. I thought it was Jennifer. But no, it was my subconscious screaming at me, you're not done yet, motherfucker. So I wake Jennifer up and ask her how much time is left before the cutoff. I already knew I was DN fed, so there was no official finish to chase. This wasn't about glory. This was about proving to myself that I could. Either I sit there and let that shit haunt me for a year, or I get my ass out there and finish what I fucking started, and that's exactly what I did. So I wake her ass up and ask, how much time is left? She says something like, I don't know, maybe a few hours or whatever. Half my crew had already dipped, but 2 people were still around. I woke them the fuck up. They were literally getting ready to catch a flight. And I said, look, I've got 40 miles left. I'm having Jennifer drop me off where I stopped, and I'm finishing this fucking race. Are you in or not? I couldn't cross the official finish line because I wasn't an official finisher, but I didn't give a shit. I ended up finishing on some random road by a damn telephone pole. That was my finish, 250, maybe 255 miles. And you know what? That race is one of the best things I've ever done. Why? Because every single time I told myself I'm not going back, I fucking went back. Over and over again, I proved myself wrong. That race showed me what humans are capable of if we're willing to go there, to push past the bullshit and take one more step. That's what it comes down to. People always ask me, how the fuck do you do what you do? It's simple. I ask myself one question. Can I take one more step? And almost always the answer is yes. That's the difference. If you can take one more step and you don't, that's real failure. That's real quitting. I don't know if you can take 2 steps. That's a question for after the first one. But if you can take 1 step and you don't, and you've got to live with that shit. During this race, I faced that 1-second decision over and over again. The whole race took me over 100 fucking hours. People don't get it. Those hundreds of hours are made up of seconds. And every single second, you got a choice. And think about Hell Week. 130 hours of sheer misery. That's a shitload of seconds. And you've got to win every single one. You lose just 1 second, 1 moment of weakness, and it's over. That's all it takes. But if you can own that second, you can fucking win. And that's what I did, step by step, second by second. The 1-second decision is exactly what it sounds like. It's that moment when life is kicking your ass and everything in you wants to quit. Imagine you're in freezing cold water, and every time a wave smashes over your head, your brain is screaming, get the fuck out of here. You're in Hell Week, hour 1 of 130 brutal hours, and it's all fun and games at first. At the start of Hell Week, it's like a damn pep rally. Guns are going off. The instructors are screaming. Concussion grenades are exploding. M60 blanks are ripping through the air. It's fucking chaos. And everyone's hyped. You're screaming hooyah. With your boys linked arms like nothing can break you. You're jacked up, full of energy, ready to conquer the world. But here's the thing. They shut all that shit off. All that noise, all that hype, gone. Now you're marching out to the surf zone for something called surf torture. And let me tell you, that Pacific Ocean is cold as fuck. There's no music, no explosions, no screaming instructors. It's just you, your brothers, and the icy water. You lay back, and that first wave smashes into you. Suddenly your mind isn't on hour 2 anymore. It's racing ahead to hour 130. You're thinking there's no fucking way I can survive this for 5 days. You're not processing the now. You're drowning in the future. And that's when the real fight begins. In that moment, every reason you came here is gone. You don't give a fuck about becoming a SEAL. You don't care about serving your country, about earning that gold trident. You're not thinking about honor, pride, or purpose. All you care about is getting warm. You want to be home, sitting on your couch, eating a hot meal, maybe curled up with your girl. That comfort is calling you hard, and that's where most people lose. But here's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who quit. In that 1 second, when your mind is screaming run, you've got to override it, you've got to take control, The pain is fucking blinding and it makes you irrational. Your thoughts aren't about victory. They're about survival, fight or flight. Save yourself. That's where most people break. They can't think past the pain. But here's the truth, that pain, it's temporary. It's a test. In that 1 second, you've got to remind yourself why the fuck you're there. You've got to block out everything. Block out the cold, the fear, the bullshit comfort you're craving, and decide to stay. That's the 1 second decision. Most people fail it. But if you can own it, if you can get past that 1 second, you can do anything. Look, man, there's a bigger process to this shit. But in that moment, I physically stay in the water. Because if I get out, I fucking quit. That's the line. So I stay in, but mentally, I take myself the fuck out of that water. I'm on the beach now, sitting with the instructors. These motherfuckers are bundled up in their parkas, sipping on their hot coffee, warm as hell, because they've already been through this. It's my turn now. So mentally, I go back to them. I'm still in the water, freezing my ass off, but in my head, I'm warm. I've got my parka on, I'm sipping that coffee, and now I'm thinking logically. I've calmed my brain down. I've taken that 1 second. I tell myself, let's not quit yet. Goggins, let's fucking think about your options. Where are you going to end up if you quit this shit? What are you going to say to yourself? You know damn well the second you get out of that water, you'll be warm. You'll take a shower, get cozy, and in 5 days, you'll be out of this entirely. But what then? What happens to you after that? You'll be stuck with that regret, knowing you bailed when it got hard. So I keep thinking. I stop reacting to the pain, start making sense of it. My brain is screaming, get the fuck out. Ring the bell, drop your helmet, and go get warm. But I know if I do that, I'm done. I'll be fucked. And I'll have to live with that failure. That's what the 1 second decision is all about. It's about gaining control of your mind, putting everything back into perspective, and deciding I really do want to be here. And here's the truth. You're going to face 1,000 of these 1 second decisions during this 130-hour grind. Every single one is a chance to fail. If you lose just one of those seconds, you're done. You won't be a SEAL. You won't be a doctor. You won't be a lawyer. You won't be whatever the fuck you're working for. That's how important that 1 second decision is. Your mind tries to control you, but you've got to tell it, fuck you, I run this shit. That's what it's all about. Projecting yourself forward, thinking about the consequences of fucking failing. That's one of the most powerful motivators you'll ever have. When you quit, yeah, you might stop the discomfort right now, but what you're really doing is signing up for a lifetime of shame, guilt, and regret. That's the cost of quitting. That's the price you pay. Right now, I am just trying to end the pain. That's all you care about. But what you don't realize is that the future, the rest of your fucking life, is so much longer than this moment of suffering. Yeah, it sucks right now, but even 130 hours of Hell Week is just 130 hours. It's temporary. But that regret, that shit lasts forever. The future doesn't stop until the day you die. And when you look back on this moment, what do you want to see? Do you want pride and glory, or do you want shame and guilt? That's the question. That's the 1 second decision right there. Most people, they fail in that 1 second. And that 1 second doesn't just fuck up that moment. It ripples out into 20 years, 30 years, or 40 fucking years of regret. I've had people I train with in Ranger School, SEAL training, Air Force training. They call me years later. These guys have great lives on paper, but they can't enjoy a damn thing because they quit in that one moment. They're sitting in comfort now, but their minds, they're tortured. They can't stop thinking about what they could have been, what they could have done if they just held on. For me, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be because I didn't fucking quit. I've failed before. Hell, I've failed more times than I can count. Every failure was a lesson that made me better. That's the difference. Now, man, this is about Moab. The first time wrecked me, but I was ready to fucking go again. My knee, that shit's been jacked for 20 years. It's been a constant gut check with all these miles I put on it. Hey, between the first and second Moab, it was still fucked. But we ain't making excuses here. You just deal with it and keep moving. So Moab 2 comes around and man, my ass gets destroyed. Turned into damn hamburger meat. It wasn't just the knee this time. At mile 201, that's where I hit rock bottom in the first Moab. This time, it became a checkpoint. a mental flag. Jennifer's hyped as hell because I'm still going strong, and she's filming me coming up this climb. She's all, there's some people up here who want to meet you. You're doing so amazing. And I'm like, fuck that, my ass is fucked up. Get the damn design cream. People don't get it when you're raw like that. When your ass is shredded and every step feels like you're rubbing sandpaper on hamburger meat. It's next level pain. She's smiling, cheering. And I'm just thinking, get me that fucking cream. For 20 fucking miles, I'm walking with blood and raw skin rubbing together. So we get to the bathroom and she's got the Desitin. I pull my shorts down and man, it's a mess. Just blood everywhere. I spread my cheeks and tell her, get that shit in there. And let me tell you, a real woman, a ride or die, doesn't even blink. She just gets in there like it's nothing, like I asked her to rub some sunscreen on my back. That's when you know you've got someone solid in your corner. Was it traumatic for her? Fuck no. She's done worse. You remember that Leadville chapter? After I finished, my body started shutting down. I laid on that duvet, which by the way is just a fancy ass word for a blanket. Jennifer's freaking out about her Airbnb rating because I'm about to shit myself right there on the duvet. And I'm just like, this isn't my house. I don't give a fuck. It was bad. Crime scene bad. But that's the price of this life, man. You destroy yourself, you deal with the consequences, and if you're lucky, you've got someone who doesn't flinch when you're bleeding, shitting, and falling apart. That's how you know you're built different. And so are the people in your corner. That's the price you pay to find out who the fuck you are. Man, the hardest physical shit I've ever been through is, out of all the bullshit I've done, 3 fucking hell weeks, strapping my busted ass legs up to run Badwater, Moab, all of it. By far the most painful was my first 100-mile race. No contest. That shit destroyed me. Now, man, as you climb higher and start achieving more, people come out of nowhere to critique every fucking thing you do. And guess what? The ones talking shit are never doing better than you. It's always people stuck in their own miserable ass lives, projecting their failures onto you. I started having fun with it. I don't shy away from the comments. I go looking for the hate. I'll block and delete that negative energy from my page, but not before I screenshot it. I save that shit. Why? Because on those days when I think, man, I don't feel like doing this today, I pull it up. I've got a whole mixtape of people running their mouths about me, and I play it on repeat. It's fuel. I know exactly why they hate me. They're sitting on their asses, underachieving, watching me put in the work. I make them uncomfortable because I'm a reminder of what they could be if they stop making excuses. And that's why I keep going. Because every mile I run, every goal I crush is me reminding them they'll never fucking touch me. I even play that shit while I'm running or at home. Yeah, it annoys Jennifer sometimes. She's like, why do you listen to this garbage? But for me, it's half hilarious and half motivation. It pushes me. And no, I don't take my phone everywhere. That thing's a distraction. When I'm with someone, I'm 100% present. When it's time for the phone, I use it. When it's not, it's off, silenced, or left behind. That's how I stay focused and locked in. So while I'm listening to those self-narrated insults from random people on the internet, I'm thinking about how back in the day when I was getting bullied or stuck in my own dark ass head, that shit would have wrecked me. I'd be the guy who wanted to clap back, spend all day trying to explain myself to people who don't fucking matter. That's where I used to be. But now I can hear it and I can actually enjoy it. I know exactly where it's coming from. I've studied that negativity. Man, I don't just listen to it and laugh it off. I study it because I've been that person. I used to be the guy sitting there saying, fuck that dude, he's probably cheating, or there's no way he got there the right way. I was that bitter, negative piece of shit because I wasn't willing to work for it. I hated on people who were doing the work I wasn't ready to do. Now, when I hear the hate, I see it for what it is. It's like looking at an old version of myself. It's a mirror showing me where I came from. And that's powerful. This one, I called it a reverse role model. And yeah, that's 100% real. A lot of people don't grow up with positive role models. They don't have someone showing them the right way to live, succeed, or handle relationships. I didn't either. But you know what I did have? I had plenty of examples of what not to do. I saw people with broken relationships, drowning their problems in alcohol, living without integrity, lying, backstabbing, and gossiping. And I thought, I don't want to be like that. That's the reverse role model. learning what to avoid. You can get so far in life just by not screwing it up. Most success, it's about avoiding failure. You don't need to be perfect right away, but you sure as hell can't quit. That's the game. Stay in the race, that's the 1 second decision. Don't let yourself lose before you even have a chance to win. You don't have to know exactly where the fuck you're going, but if you keep dodging the bullshit and learning from the bad examples around you, you'll eventually find your way to success. I've done that my whole damn life. I had the ultimate blueprint growing up. Being the youngest kid in the family, I had an advantage. Sure, I got picked on and bullied, but I also got to sit back and watch. I watched my dad, my mom, my brother, everyone around me, and thought, fuck that. I don't want to live like that. It was like a masterclass in how not to live your life. I saw their mistakes, their bullshit, and I used that as a guide for what not to become. And that's the thing about criticism. It comes from a unique place. People who hate on you, man, if you really saw the shit they're dealing with on the inside, you'd feel pity, not anger. I've learned that over time. For a long while, I thought everyone else had it all figured out because I only saw what they chose to show. Meanwhile, I'm over here seeing every lie I tell myself, every broken promise, every fuck up in real time. It made me think their opinions about me were legit, like they had me nailed. But you know what? That's bullshit. Over time, I built my confidence and realized something important. No one who's in a good place mentally, no one who's truly successful wastes their time tearing someone else down. The ones throwing shade are fighting their own demons. I've been through that. Like that guy from SEAL Team 6 who tried to destroy me. Lied about me, attacked my reputation, even forced me to lawyer up. I was ready to fucking sue him, but after a couple months, I sat back and thought, damn, this guy's in a really bad place. I started feeling sorry for him. Come to find out, he was dealing with some serious mental shit. That's when it clicked for me. People who try to tear you down are usually battling their own darkness. So now, instead of reacting right away, I pull back. I study people before I get pissed. Whether it's a bully at school, your boss at work, or some asshole on the internet, take a second to think about why they're acting like that. Happy, successful people don't waste their energy trying to destroy others. They build people up. That's where I'm at now. I see it for what it is. Most of the time, the hate is coming from someone in a dark-ass place. And you know what? That's their problem, not mine. People don't understand this. Your mind has to be clear for discipline to work. That's why I wake up ready to go, locked in and focused. My mental garage is clean, my tools are sharp, and I'm ready to get after it. No matter how I feel. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays if you've got your shit together. That's how you win. And success isn't just about what you gain. It's about what you cut out. If I didn't focus on this, I couldn't fit 1/10 of it in. That's my human growth factor, this routine, this discipline, this grind. That's how you get better. Building confidence isn't about standing in front of a mirror, screaming affirmations or pounding your chest like some kind of motivational hype man. Bullshit. That's a fucking Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Confidence comes from the undeniable stack of proof you've built over time. Proof that you are who you say you are. It's shit that works for me. It's my daily resume. It's the calluses on my hands, the scars on my hands, the scars on my soul, and the grind I put in every single day. It's the stuff nobody sees, the hours of suffering, the relentless work. That's where confidence is born. Not in fake-ass affirmations or trying to hype yourself up in the morning. If you're doing the work, you don't need that. Your results speak for themselves. Belief isn't handed to you. No one's just born confident. It's built brick by fucking brick through the task you put yourself through. For me, it was Hell Week 3 times, Ranger School, Delta selection, all the shit I took on when everyone else said, there's no way. Every accomplishment added to my undeniable proof. That's how I transformed from that weak, insecure kid I used to be into the person I am now. Proof beats bullshit every time. When you think you can't do something, you've got to look back at the proof you've built. Confidence is earned. It's not about hyping yourself up for a fight and hoping for the best. It's about knowing, deep down without a doubt, that you've put in the work to knock that motherfucker out. Because you've done it before, because you've prepared for this moment. Man, life is about chasing the hard shit, the impossible shit. Because that's where you grow. That's where confidence is forged. You want to be unshakable. You've got to build it. One challenge, one grind, one undeniable piece of proof at a time. Let me tell you, dealing with laziness and self-doubt isn't some feel-good, slap your chest bullshit. That's just the surface. You can look in the mirror all day, yell your affirmations, stare into your soul like a wannabe badass. But if you don't fucking deliver, you're just lying to yourself. No results, no confidence. Same cycle. Rinse and repeat. The dream isn't the destination, man. It's the ignition. The moment you say, I want to be a Navy SEAL, that's the easy part. The real shit starts when you got to lose 106 pounds in 3 months. That's when you stop dreaming and start doing. The dream fades and the grind begins. Every damn day it's about the task. Run this far, swim this long, eat this clean, wake up at this hour. That's how you fucking own the dream. The dream doesn't own you. The grind does. Here's the other trap. Talking about your dream. People get high off talking. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And it feels good, doesn't it? Dopamine hit. You tell your boys, you post it online, and everyone claps for you. But when that alarm clock smacks you in the face at 4 a.m., where's that dopamine now? You roll over, hit snooze, and say tomorrow. That's why most people are stuck. All mouth, no action. Until you clear the bullshit from your mind and commit to the grind, you'll always be a talker. And talkers don't win. Stop running your fucking mouth and start running your fucking life. Now, man, the audio version of this book. Yeah, I went in deeper. I added podcasts between the chapters to unpack the raw shit that just went down in the story. This time I brought in guests. One of them, my mom. We sat down for 35 minutes and went all the way back, talking about the hell she went through with my father and how that shaped both of us. A lot of that wasn't in Can't Hurt Maine because back then we weren't ready to go there. But here's the thing. It's been a fucking journey to get to the point where we could even talk about that publicly. My mom didn't sign up for this life. She didn't ask for the world to know our story. But when I put my shit out there and Can't Hurt Me, it wasn't just about me. That shit was useful to people. Millions of people connected with it. And yeah, that gravity starts pulling others in. Family, friends. It's heavy as hell. For my mom, though, it wasn't about me pushing her into the spotlight. Writing Can't Hurt Maine was my way of saying, this is me, scars and all. That woke her ass up. She told me, if you had the courage to air out all your dirty laundry, then why the hell am I hiding from mine? But getting there took years. 4 fucking years of working through the damage. My mom went through some heavy shit with my dad, and it broke her. It broke me too, but I knew early on no one was coming to save me. I had to fix my own broken ass, my mom. She stayed stuck in that mindset for a long time. The process started when I put out Can't Hurt Me. It made her ask herself, why? Why do I give a fuck what people think about what I've been through? Why am I letting their judgment control my life? That's when things started to shift. I talk about some shit in these books that most people would never say out loud because it's too embarrassing. But guess what? We all have our shit. You're not special because life handed you a raw deal. The only thing that matters is what the hell you do with it. My mom got to a point where she stopped giving a fuck about what others might say. She started owning her story instead of hiding from it. That's what this process was. Breaking free from the weight of other people's opinions and realizing that our pain doesn't define us. What defines us is what we do next. Here's the thing. People love to run their fucking mouths about others. It's hilarious to me. You've got these assholes out here tearing apart celebrities or anyone who's fucked up, acting like they're squeaky clean. But let me tell you something. If I opened up their fucking closet, you'd see skeletons so big they'd knock the whole damn house down. Everyone's got their shit. Everyone. People just love talking shit because it keeps the spotlight off their own messed up lives. That's the game, and it's pathetic. When it came to my mom, we went through that storm together. And at some point, she decided to say, fuck it. That's what I want for people. To walk into a room with 1 million people who hate their guts, look around and say, fuck you all, I'm good, and walk out with their head held high. That's what she learned. Now she can own her truth, look the world in the face, and say, yeah, I married a piece of shit who choked a woman to death. I was in a bad place, but I survived. Fucking deal with it. Her fight wasn't always there, though. When she finally left my father, it was like her body and mind hit a wall. You know that feeling after running 100 miles when you sit down and your body just gives up? That was her. The second she stopped fighting, all the demons she'd been holding at bay came rushing in. They swallowed her whole, and for a while they swallowed me too. But here's the thing. I watched her, I studied her. And in doing that, she gave me the ultimate blueprint for what not to be. Growing up in hell sharpens your mind in ways most people can't even imagine. I became a fucking genius at reading people. Who to trust, who to avoid, who had bad energy. That was survival for me, man. I was always studying, always learning. My mom's pain was so deep, she even thought about taking her own life. She told me about it a few times behind closed doors. And honestly, I'm surprised she didn't. There's a lot of shit she's been through that'll probably never see the light of day. Stories I won't tell unless she gives me the okay. But here's the thing. She didn't give up. She kept going. And that's where the strength is. She told me and my brother we were the only reason she didn't go through with it. She couldn't leave us in the hands of that tyrant who would have destroyed us even more. That's heavy, man. Imagine being a kid and knowing you're the only thing keeping your mom alive. It's a lot of pressure. It says a lot about how dark her life was back then, but it's also fucking beautiful. Sometimes, all you need is one thing to keep you moving. For her, it was me and my brother. That one thing got her to the next step, then the next, and the next. Now she's 75, retired, and finally living a peaceful life. That's the power of holding on to that one thread when everything else is falling apart. One thing can save you. One thing can change your whole fucking life. Now, while having that conversation with my mom during the audiobook production wasn't just hard, it was brutal. Imagine sitting across from your mom, 2 microphones in front of you, knowing damn well this isn't just a private moment. It's just going out to millions of people. They're going to listen, scrutinize, and pick apart every word. And there we are, reopening wounds that cut deep as hell, laying it all out for the world to hear. Why the fuck would we do that? Because it's necessary. Owning your trauma means dragging it out into the light, staring it in the face and saying, you don't own me anymore. It's like that scene in 8 Mile. Eminem's on stage and he knows this dude's about to destroy him in a rap battle by airing all his dirty laundry. His trailer park life, his girl cheating on him, his boy getting shot. So what does he do? He beats him to it. He lays it all out himself. That's the move. You take away the power by owning your shit. That's what I've done. And now my mom's doing it too. When you can look the world in the eye and say, here's all my shit. Raw and unfiltered, you take away their power. No more secrets. No more shame. It's a freeing feeling to stand there, broken and exposed, and still be unshakable. Look, when someone like Lance Armstrong gets called out for steroids and finally admits it after years of lies, guess what? The conversation fucking ends. There's no more speculation, no more gossip. The truth is out, and it's done. That's the same shit we're doing. Getting ahead of it, owning it, and walking away stronger. One of my favorite moments in this process came during the audiobook. Things got heavy with my mom. Real heavy. I could see it was tough for her. I even gave her an out. Told her we could take a break. You know, she said, no, I want to keep going. That's when I knew. She's got that dog in her. She had to. Growing up the way we did, surviving the shit we went through, you don't make it unless you've got some fight in you. My mom had me at 28 and my brother at 24. And after that, we grew up together in hell. She didn't have the luxury of breaking down. She had to develop what my grandfather called a stiff upper lip. But more than that, she had to become her own fucking coach, her own motivator. Nobody was coming to save her or us. That's the thing. Life doesn't give a fuck about your feelings. You've got to show up for yourself time and time again, no matter how hard it gets. My mom's proof of that. She's been through hell, but she's still standing, still fighting, and now she's doing it on her terms. That's what it means to have a dog in you. You don't stop. You don't quit. You own your pain. You own your story, and you keep fucking moving. Why the fuck would I go back to face the man who terrorized my life? Why would I willingly walk into the lion's den one last time? Because it was the only way for me to move forward. Life doesn't hand you closure. You've got to rip that shit out of the ground yourself. I kept hitting this mental wall. Couldn't get past it, couldn't fucking climb over it. And I knew deep down, the reason was staring me in the face. It was him. The beast, the demon, the tyrant. Look, sometimes when your back hurts, the problem ain't your fucking back. It's something else in your body that's out of alignment. My life was like that. I was dragging all this baggage and no amount of self-reflection or hard work was going to fix it until I dealt with the source. That meant going back to the man who caused so much of my pain. I didn't go looking for an apology. I didn't go there to hear him say he was wrong. I went back to take back control. When I saw him again, he wasn't the monster I'd built up in my head anymore. I did my homework before going. I dug into his past. Found out his dad, my grandfather, was a fucking devil. This man used to strip him naked, put him in front of a blazing furnace, and whip the shit out of him. Told him, if you move, you'll burn. My dad's demons weren't born in him. They were beaten into him. And like the coward he was, he tried to pass them down to me. I had to understand that, not to forgive him, not to excuse him, but to see him for what he really was. A broken man trying to break others. I got my answers. I saw the pattern. And you know what? That shit freed me. It wasn't about his apology. It was about reclaiming my narrative. If I'd gone there looking for a sorry, it would have been like handing over my power. Like saying, okay, you fucked me up. Now I can fail guilt-free. Oh, fuck that. I don't need his validation to justify my failures. And driving to Buffalo to face him, there was a voice inside me getting louder and louder saying, this is on you now, motherfucker. Yeah, your dad fucked you up, but that's not your excuse anymore. You're either going to let that shit define you or you're going to own it. By the time I left the house, I wasn't a victim anymore. I'd done a live autopsy on myself. Most people wait until they're dead for someone to figure out what killed them. Not me. I did that shit while I was still breathing. I was alive, but I was dying inside every fucking day. That trip, that confrontation was the scalpel I needed to cut out the rot. I faced it, I dissected it, and I came out the other side reborn. You don't get reborn by running from the pain. You face it, you own it, and then you bury it where it belongs. In the past. Generational trauma is a fucking cycle. A curse that keeps getting passed down like a family heirloom, except instead of wealth or pride, it's pain and suffering. My grandfather beat the shit out of my father, and my father brought that shitstorm straight to me. I had two choices. Either let that chain keep pulling me down or break the motherfucker for good. Hell yeah. It's part of my mission to be the dam that stops that flood of pain. I'm here to show people that it doesn't matter where you came from. It's about where the fuck you're going. This world will chew you up and spit you out, but only if you let it. When you stop being ashamed of your past, you start owning your future. Shame kills more dreams than failure ever could. People walk around haunted by shit they're too scared to face. Fuck that. Face it, fix it, and own it. Whatever you've done, whatever's been done to you, that's your fucking story. Use it. Don't let it bury you. Every wound, every scar, every mistake, it's all data, all knowledge. But knowledge without action is nothing. You've got to take what you learn from your pain and turn it into your power. That's my message to people. Don't just survive. Transform. Breaking the cycle doesn't just happen. It's a daily fucking grind. You have to confront everything. Your pain, your trauma, your mistakes. You have to become the blueprint for what not to do. That's how I see it as a son, as a grandson, and now as a father. I've spent my life studying human behavior, including my own. I didn't just stumble into this clarity. I earned it step by painful step. And now I'm passing that clarity on to others. When I hear people talk about isolation, loneliness, or the shit they went through in school, I get it. Isolation eats at you like a disease, and the scars it leaves are invisible to everyone else. But hiding from it only makes it stronger. You said you didn't talk about bullying because you thought it would undermine who you want to be. The strong, masculine, respected guy. Let me tell you something. Nothing makes you weaker than hiding from the truth. Nothing builds respect more than owning your shit. You think talking about being bullied makes you look less of a man. Fuck that noise. What makes a man is the courage to face the mirror, to tell the world, yeah, this is me. This is my story. Once you own your shit, no one can use it against you. You free yourself. That's why I talk about my pain, my trauma, my failures, because they don't own me anymore. I own them. And that's what real strength looks like. Don't just exist in your pain. Weaponize it. Turn that weakness into your biggest fucking advantage. That's the thing about pain. If you let it, it'll teach you. That's why I talk about my shit, my struggles, my failures. because someone out there needs to hear it. They need to know there's a way forward. And bullying, man, that's a different beast. It's not just about the act, it's about the why. That's why I always say, study the bully. Don't just hate them. Understand them. Because 9 times out of 10, their cruelty comes from their own pain. But no, I was never tempted to become a bully myself. Fuck that. That was never in my DNA. I wanted to rise above that shit. Always. Hell, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a priest. Can you imagine that? And me giving a sermon. Praise the fucking Lord. Yeah, I'd be cussing like crazy. But that's the real world, man. People want truth, not sugar-coated bullshit. And truth is messy. It's raw. It's fucking uncomfortable. But it's also where real change happens. Look, man, this world is fucking tough. Tough as hell. And when you come up the way I came up, there's no sugarcoating it. Sometimes the only way to explain how dark and brutal it is to drop a fuck or two. Because no other word captures that level of pain. People ask me, why do you cuss so much? Why can't you make it PG? I want my kid to read your book. Yeah, I've got a clean edition of the book. It's short as hell because when you cut out the raw truth, you cut out the heart of the message. But here's the thing. How long are you planning to shelter your kids from the real world? This world's evil as fuck. It's coming for you. It's coming for your kids. And it's going to hit a lot harder than a few curse words. You can't raise someone soft in a world that's harder than ever. It doesn't fucking work. People ask me, is all that hard shit you went through necessary? Maybe not the way I lived it, but you've got to build someone who can take a hit. Someone who can handle devastation, trauma, and heartbreak without breaking down. Because life will break you if you're not ready. It's not about running 200 miles or being some hardcore badass. It's about being tough. You've got to be the kind of person who can stare trauma in the face, break it down, and move the fuck forward. When life smacks you with devastation, you can't let it be a wall you slam into. It's got to be something you maneuver around, something you climb over, something you fucking beat. That takes toughness. That takes work. Listen, man, unchosen suffering is coming whether you like it or not. You can't avoid it, but you can prepare for it. The only way to be ready for the shit life throws at you is to choose your suffering. Do something that sucks every single day. That's how you build armor. That's how you get strong enough to face the unchosen suffering when it shows up at your door. Now, people bring up bullshit like VR sharks. Oh, what's it like being in VR with sharks? Nothing. It's nothing because I live in reality. VR is fake as fuck. Life's real. Pain is real. Trauma is real. And that's where I work. In the reality of this hard-ass world, you've got to stop hiding from it. Face it, feel it, and fight through it. That's how you get stronger. That's how you survive. You put me in a real fucking ocean with real sharks and you'll get a real reaction, but you put me in some bullshit room, sit me down in a chair and slap some VR goggles on my face, I know I'm in a fucking chair. I know I'm in a room. If you're sitting there losing your shit like it's real, then you've got bigger fucking problems than sharks, man. You need to study why the fuck you're psyching yourself out over something fake. That's where the real issue is. You're sitting on solid ground, safe as hell, but your brain's acting like it's dangling over a cliff. Why? Don't study your fear of heights. Study why you're letting some fake-ass scenario override what you know is real. That's a failure to deal with reality. And you can't afford that kind of weakness. For me, nothing goes beyond the truth. And when it comes to stepping up, I'm always first. They put me in that VR room. People were looking around like, who's going first? I didn't hesitate. Me, let's fucking go. Why? Because I don't sit back and watch. I don't need to see someone else go first to gauge how I'll react. You want to study how shit gets done. Watch me. I live in reality and I face it head on. Every fucking time. Now, about performance without a purpose, this is where most people fail. Everyone needs a reason to get out of bed. A race, a goal, some big-ass dream to chase. But what happens when there's nothing on the schedule? No 5K, no class, no promotion. Most people fucking fall apart because they're lost without a purpose. But that's not how you win. You've got to train yourself to perform at the highest level, even when there's nothing on the docket. Why? Because one day, life is going to throw you a curveball, a challenge you didn't see coming. And if you've been slacking off, you won't be ready. Performance without purpose is about staying prepared for whatever comes your way. It's about making yourself the damn purpose. Here's the thing. We're all out here searching for purpose like it's some magical thing. Guess what? The purpose is you. It's always been you. It's not the race, the degree, or the title. It's you. You are the constant. You're the reason to push, to fight, to improve. Everything else, that's just extra. But the main purpose, the one that matters most, is becoming the best fucking version of yourself every day. No excuses. If you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't give a fuck about yourself. That's the truth. And that's what you need to face head on. Why don't you care enough about your own damn self? The number one purpose in life is to better yourself. Period. You don't need anything else. You don't need a fucking race or a prize dangling in front of you. The only purpose you need is you. That's why I get up every day. No race, no school, no deadline. Just me. I get up because I've got pride in myself and I refuse to let that pride slip. Now, man, the excuses. It's cold. It's dark. Your knees are fucked up. Your gear sucks. You're cozy in bed. You had a fight last night. You're hungover. All of that bullshit. That's the enemy trying to keep you weak. And you know what? Most people stay weak. Most people take the easy way out, but not me. I hear that voice saying, stay in bed, and it lights a fucking fire under me. Why? Because I know most people won't get up. Most people won't push through. That's my edge. That's where I level the fuck up. What fires me up is knowing there are people out there who have everything they need to succeed, but they choose not to. They refuse to get off the couch. They refuse to study harder. They refuse to dig deeper because it's hard, it's miserable, and it's lonely. And that's exactly where I win. That's my space. It's so fucking easy to be great nowadays because most people are soft. They're too afraid of the suck. They're too afraid of the grind. They don't want to be lonely. Loneliness used to fucking hurt me too. Growing up, I was the lonely kid. I hated it. But now, I fucking thrive in that shit. That's my home. That's where I operate best. It's the only place to be. The crazy thing is, all that pain, all that fear and embarrassment you had as a kid, that's where the magic starts. That's the genesis of your strength as an adult. The shit that made you feel weak is the same shit that gives you power. My ability to thrive in solitude. That's why I can do the impossible. That's why I moved to America and started my life over. That's why I went through Hell Week 3 times. I don't give a fuck how long or dark the road is. I stay on it until I win. That's the difference. Most people quit when it gets tough. Most people run from the loneliness, the discomfort, the pain. But me, I embrace it. I live in it. Because that's where greatness is born. The shit you went through growing up, that wasn't just some random bad luck. It was training. You had to figure out people. Vibe check them. And see who the fuck you wanted in your life and who to cut loose. That skill. That's a damn superpower now. You walk into a room and you already know who's worth your time and who's full of shit. And here's the truth. Every damn advantage in life has a dark side. Nothing comes free, nothing's pure. The stuff you're proud of today, that shit came out of some pain, some darkness you had to survive. Take me as a kid, sitting alone in my fucking bedroom, no friends, no one to play with. I'd sit there listening to audio tapes because I didn't have a damn soul to hang out with. Every 2 weeks, I'd hit the library, swap out those tapes, and do it all over again. Sounds sad as fuck, right? But fast forward 20 years. What's the 2023 version of an audio tape? A podcast. All those hours alone turned into one of my biggest strengths. The shit you hate about your past. That's where your power is. People ask me, how did you become this? How are you doing podcasts now when you were that scared, lonely kid? The answer, I fought through it every day. And when you fight those battles, you come out a different person. Strong as fuck. The shit you hate about your past, that's where your power is. The things that made you feel weak, ashamed, scared. When you face them head on and overcome them, you get stronger. People ask me, how did you become this? How are you doing podcasts now when you were that scared, lonely kid? The answer, I fought through it every day. And when you fight those battles, you come out a different person. Strong as fuck. Now, If you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, let me tell you something. No one's coming to save your ass. You've got to want it. You've got to dig deep and find some fucking pride in yourself. Whether it's your name, your story, or just one tiny thing you can hold on to. You've got to give a damn. Because if you don't have pride, you'll fold every single time. And no one can give that to you but you. I'm proud as fucking myself. That's why when people said, no way you can top Can't Hurt Me, I said, Roger that. We'll fucking see. That pride, that's the shit that gets me up in the morning. I'm not talking about cocky bullshit pride. I'm talking about the pride that's rooted in discipline, focus, and setting a damn standard for yourself. I want to be the standard. I want to be that motherfucker people look at and say, that's how it's done. Everywhere I went in the military, there was some ethos, some mission statement about how we're supposed to live, act, and carry ourselves. And you know what? Most people didn't live up to it. They just talked about it. It's the same everywhere. Companies have these fancy ass mission statements about how they want to operate, but it's just words on a wall. I said, fuck that. I made my own mission statement for my life. How do I want to live? Who do I want to be? That's the difference. When you wake up every day and hold yourself accountable to your own standard, not someone else's bullshit, you start becoming unstoppable. If you don't have a mission, you're just floating. You're sitting down in life, never standing for shit. And you know the saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. That's 100% real. So figure out what the fuck you stand for. Write it down. Make it clear. Once you know, you can start working on yourself, getting better every single day. And that's what Roger That is all about. There's two types of Roger That. The first is just acknowledging an order. The second, the real one, is this: received orders given, expect results. That's it. No excuses, no bullshit. You get the job done and you do it above and beyond. That's the level I live at. That's the standard. You want to talk about badass. That's it right there. Roger that. Fucking dope. That's the way. When someone who fucking gets it talks to you, you know it instantly. You see it in their eyes, feel it in their energy. It's raw, real, and no bullshit. That connection, it's not fake. They get the job done. Roger that. A lot of us have two versions of ourselves. There's greatness sitting over here, but instead you choose to stay in this safe little space over here. Why? Because between where you're at and that fucking greatness is a massive gap. And that gap is filled with work. Hard, ugly, relentless work. And most people, they look at that shit and say, fuck it, I'll just stay here. But not me. I like to tear into every inch of that space. I want to see what's out there, what's left. And let me tell you, there's still a lot more. And I find peace in my own way. When I look back at 8-year-old David, white spots on his face, stuttering, patches of hair falling out, I see peace. I see it in knowing what I've done, what I've overcome. That's where my peace is. Everyone's peace looks different. And that's why I don't judge people. I don't know their story, where they come from, what they've been through. For me, I found peace years ago, but I didn't find it in some quiet moment. I found it in the battle. You go to war with yourself, fight through every weakness, every doubt. And that's where peace lives. When you faced yourself, when you know exactly who you are, that's real fucking peace. Stay hard.